Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet.
Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into a time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Drama on this Wednesday with episodes of Grand Central Station, Calling All Cars, Gunsmoke, guest star, and Jonathan Thomas and Christmas on the Moon, and Fibber McGee and Molly. That's all straight ahead on this Wednesday. This is the 18th day of December, 353rd day of the year. 13 days left until we get to 2025. Happy birthday, New Jersey. You became the third state to ratify the Constitution on this date in 1787. The first performance of Tchaikovsky's The Nutcracker held at the Mariinsky Theater in St. Petersburg on this date in 1892. First performance of Tchaikovsky's Nutcracker on this date in 1892. The Shippingport Atomic Power Station in Pennsylvania, the first civilian nuclear facility to generate electricity in the U.S., went online on this date in 1957. In 1972, President Nixon announced the U.S. will engage North Korea in Operation Linebacker 2, a series of Christmas bombings after peace talks collapsed with North Vietnam.
Well, it's being done because the North Vietnamese have not only gone back on their word, they never have kept their word. And what I'm sorry about is that the president ever stopped the bombing in the first place. Had Johnson not stopped it, this war would have been over a long time ago. Now, I know bombing hurts the feelings of many Americans. But if the North Vietnamese insist on keeping this war going that threatens American lives and the lives of friends, then I'm all for bombing them and bombing them and bombing them, and keeping it up until they come to the table and say, I want to quit. And I don't think that North Vietnam can sustain this type of bombing much longer.
On this date in 1979, President Carter pressed Congress to support the Chrysler Loan Guarantee Program.
Let me clarify my purpose here. It is not, as was reported in most of the media, to ask for a handout. It is to request a helping hand, and a handout, at least according to Webster, means anything you get for nothing, for free. We do not want anything for free. We're asking for the guarantee of a loan, every last dollar of which will be repaid.
Now, among those pressing the government, representatives of both management and labor. All right, on this date in 1987, Ivan Boesky sentenced to 3 years in prison for plotting Wall Street's biggest insider trading scandal.
Mr. Boesky has now received a sentence that is much heavier than the vast majority of people convicted in federal courts throughout this nation. He is probably in the top 20% in terms of the length of sentence.
Now, although he was released after 2 years, he was permanently prohibited from working with securities. He served his sentence at the Lompoc Federal Prison Camp near Vandenberg Air Force Base in California. The Oakland, California School Board passed a resolution on this date in 1996, officially declaring Ebonics a language or dialect. In 1997, HTML 4.0 passed by the World Wide Web Consortium. In 2002, Governor of California Gray Davis announced the state would face a record budget deficit of $35 billion, roughly double the figure reported during his re-election campaign just a month earlier, and that would lead to his eventual recall. In 2006, Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld resigned, Robert Gates sworn in as the new Secretary of Defense. In 2017, Amtrak Cascades Passenger Train 501 derailed near DuPont, Washington, a city in near Olympia, Washington, killed 6 people, 70 others injured. And it was on this date in 2019 President Donald Trump impeached by the House, becoming the third president of the U.S. ever to be impeached, Speaker Nancy Pelosi declaring victory.
We passed the 2 articles of impeachment. The president is impeached.
Meanwhile, President Trump remained defiant.
Crazy Nancy Pelosi's House Democrats have branded themselves with an eternal mark of shame, and it really is. It's a disgrace.
The impeachment would fail in the Senate. Passing away on this date in history, golfer Bobby Jones, game show producer Mark Goodson of Goodson-Todman, also actor-comedian Chris Farley, cartoonist Joseph Barbera, actress-producer Majel Barrett, best known for her time with Star Trek, and Zsa Zsa Gabor, all passing away on this date in history. Birthdays on this date, those who are no longer with us, include Ty Cobb, the baseball legend, inventor Edwin Armstrong, Chancellor of Germany, Nobel Prize laureate Willy Brandt, also actress Betty Grable, actor Ossie Davis, and actor Ray Liotta, all born on this date.
Hi, this is Jeff Foxworthy. It is now time for the birthday announcements. The following people are now officially older than dirt.
Rolling Stones' Keith Richards, 81 today. Steven Spielberg, 78 years old today, who was really proud of getting the Academy Award, not for so many of his other big blockbusters, but for Schindler's List.
Schindler's List represents a minuscule percentage of the horrors that were really encountered by those who survived. And I don't think any movie can ever capture what really happened, but I think we have to try.
Steven Spielberg, 78 years old today. Film critic Leonard Maltin is 74. Comedian Ron White, they call him Tater Salad, 68 today. Brad Pitt, 61 today, got an Academy Award nomination, I should say, for 12 Monkeys.
I'm not saying you're not mentally ill. For all I know, you're crazy as a loon. But that's not why you're here.
Brad Pitt, 61 today. That's the bottom line because Stone Cold Steve Austin said so. He's 60 today. Another pro wrestler, Rob Van Dam, 54. And, of course, the Canadian pro wrestler Trish Stratus is 49. Singer Sia is 49 today. Katie Holmes, 46.
I grew up in the middle of nowhere. The birthplace of Wendell Willkie is 20 miles away, and that's about it.
From the 2002 movie Abandoned, Katie Holmes, 46. Singer Christina Aguilera is 44.
I am beautiful, no matter what they say. Words can't bring me down. I am beautiful in every single way. Yes, words can't bring me down. Oh, no.
Her hit song Beautiful, Christina Aguilera, is 44. From Pretty Little Liars and Days of Our Lives, Ashley Benson is 35. From Nashville and Father of the Year, Bridget Mendler is 32. And singer Billie Eilish is 23. Those just a few of the people who celebrate the 18th day of December as their birthday. If this is your birthday...
Hi, we're the 4 freshmen, and we just want to say, Happy birthday to you!
And you can tell Christmas is around the corner. We've got a lot of Christmas shows starting to pop up, and we're going to start off with one here in a moment. Grand Central Station, one of the few episodes of this program we have, Miracle at Christmas. This goes back 73 years, December 18th, 1951. That's next.
Civil defense is common sense. Hi, this is Tony Bennett. Make sure you're prepared if a nuclear attack ever comes.
I have said this before, there is no such place as Grand Central Station. Well, there was no such place as Grand Central Station. The name was Grand Central Terminal, and the folks in New York didn't want the name Grand Central Terminal used, so they ended up using Grand Central Station instead. It still exists, and there's a lot of interesting things there, but What we're going to hear today is one of the few remaining episodes of the program, Grand Central Station. This is a Christmas show, and it stars the well-known Mason Adams. And you remember him from Lou Grant. He did a lot of commercials like, with a name like Smucker's, it has to be good. But he did a lot of radio work. And this is something that's very outstanding. He plays an ambulance driver. And he's teamed with a doctor who is not who he seems to be. This episode from 73 years ago, December 18th, 1951.
From New York, Pillsbury's best enriched flour brings you Grand Central Station. Our great country are aimed at Grand Central Station, heart of the nation's greatest city. Drawn by the magnetic force of fantastic metropolis, day and night great trains rush toward the Hudson River. Reach on a eastern bank for 140 miles. Flash briefly with the long and road tenement houses south of 125th Street. Dive with the roar into the 2.5 mile tunnel which borrows the river and flank of Park Avenue. And then, Grand Central Station. Crossroads of a million private lives. Gigantic stage in which are played 1,000 dramas daily. Now, for the 6th consecutive year, Pillsbury Mills of Minneapolis presents with pride Grand Central Station's traditional Christmas play, a drama you will long remember.
This is Galen Drake. And before we get into our Christmas story, I want to say just a word about the 3 top prize-winning recipes in Pillsbury's Grand National Recipe and Baking Contest. The grand prize was awarded for a recipe for Pillsbury's $50,000 no-need water-rising twists. The second prize of $10,000 was for Starlight Mint Surprise Cookies. And the third prize of $4,000 was for a chocolate cake, Aunt Carrie's Bon Cake. Now, there's $64,000 worth of prize-winning recipes. Recipes won with Pillsbury's best flour. Now, as you know, you always bake your best with Pillsbury's best, and we have those 3 recipes ready for you now, and we'll be glad to send them to you. You just drop a penny postcard to Ann Pillsbury, Prize Recipe Department, Minneapolis 2, Minnesota, and she'll send you your copy. Ann Pillsbury, Prize Recipe Department, Minneapolis 2, Minnesota.
After the train from Albany pulled in, no one, not a single person, actually saw the young man with soft brown hair and soft brown eyes come through the gate. Still unseen, he walks the length of the great waiting room, now strangely tranquil as travel ebbs on Christmas Eve. Quietly, he goes out the door, down the street, and then up the broad marble stairs of the hospital. When the girl at the switchboard turns to him...
What can I do for you, sir?
Without saying a word, he gives her a card. She's startled by the name on it and instantly announces him to the hospital superintendent.
Dr. Mason is here to see you.
Mason? Dr. Mason who applied for an internship?
Yes, Dr. Garrett, it is Dr. Mason from Albany.
But that's impossible.
Shall I ask him about the telegram?
No, I'll do it. Send him in, please.
Yes, sir. Dr. Garrett will see you, sir. First door to the left.
Dr. Garrett. Dr. Mason? You are Dr. Mason? I'm sorry that I was delayed, Dr. Garrett. But just 10 minutes ago, Yes. 10 minutes ago, you received a telegram. Why, that's right. I know. From your mother. I know. But, man, Why, look at it. It says that you... That I was killed. Do you mind if I tear up that telegram, Dr. Garrett? Well, I don't understand. I was so unnerved by that wire. I counted so much on your being here tonight. Christmas Eve. A night always busy with calls. You are short of interns. Oh, yes. Mason, these are the slums. Walk through block after block and you won't see a doctor's shingle. Not one. The people here are too poor. They know only one healer. The intern and his ambulance. And tonight, night of mercy and goodwill, they would have cried out in vain. Well, now that you've come, I won't have to say to the suffering, wait. Wait. There's only one ambulance tonight, and that's out on a call. Wait and suffer. I have no one to send to you because Dr. Mason was killed. It's good that you're here, Mason. It's good. It's good to be here, Dr. Garrett. Well, you better get started. Take this slip down to the storeroom. See that they give you a warm sheepskin coat. Thank you. And a pair of mittens. From there, you go to the ambulance room. I'll have your driver waiting for you. His name is Mac.
My name is Mac. The chief says I drive your crate tonight.
Crate?
Crate, jalopy, sick buggy, ambulance, take your pick.
Oh, I see what you mean.
You green interns, you're all the same. The first time you spy an ambulance, your eyes pop wide like you've seen a heavenly chariot or something. Not me. I've been driving this old baby for 8 rotten years.
An ambulance, Mac, is a sacred thing. It is a chariot of mercy.
Uh-oh, 2 bells, that says. Come on, Mason, that's your first call.
234 South Street. 234 South Street. 234 South Street.
Look, pal, help me out by watching out for cars cutting in at the cross streets. We don't stop for no red lights. Look, Doc, what did I tell you? Watch it or we're both to be killed. Holy cow, you new interns. You're all alike. You're always dreaming. You put on the white coat and pants and your head goes up in the clouds.
Why are you so bitter, Mac?
Why shouldn't I be bitter? If it wasn't for you, I'd be home with the wife right now.
You truly believe that only because of me...
Yeah. If you hadn't showed up, this ambulance would be parked in the garage for crying out loud. I would have had the night off like on a decent job.
To you, driving an ambulance is just a job like any other?
Yeah, nothing but. Boy, will I be glad when the shift is over.
But, Mac, this is Christmas Eve.
You're telling me.
This is one night at least you could forget that driving an ambulance is a job. This one night you could look upon it as an errand of mercy.
An errand of mercy? You know where we're going?
To help someone afflicted.
Afflicted with alcohol, you mean? I'll give you 2 to 1 and we're making a stew call.
Stew call?
Yeah, Mason. We're risking our necks tearing through traffic to give some drunk a whiff of smelling salts.
Any man who cries out for help, whether he be brimful of drink or empty of blood, his call shall be answered.
Yes, says you. Okay, come on, Mason, make a snack. We ain't got all night. What did I tell you? No good drunk. Here's your bag, Doc.
Thank you, Mac. I won't need it.
But he's out cold, Mason. Come on, give him a whiff of the stuff quick when we blow.
Quiet, Mac. Come now. Open your eyes, sir.
Because the drunk, sir. Look, Mason, here's the spirit of ammonia. Hold it under his nose, will you? That always wakes him up.
Quiet, Mac. Come, sir. Open your eyes.
That's right, Mason. You just talk pretty to him and he'll open his eyes.
Where am I? Why is everybody laughing? What's the matter?
Nothing. Just put your arm around my shoulder.
That's it now. Let me help you to stand up straight. There. Now. Feel better?
Why, suddenly I feel all right. I feel fine. My head is so clear.
Of course. All you needed was to stand on your own 2 feet. To be strong. Be of good cheer.
Gosh, Doc. That's sure wonderful medicine you give me.
Medicine? What kind of gag you pulling? He didn't give you no medicine. There was nothing the matter with you. You toss off a beer and you lay down in the street like you're out calling. We waste an ambulance on you. I got a mind to take a poke at you.
That'll be enough, Mac. Tell me, sir, what is your name?
Well, if it's all the same to you...
Come on. Give me your name. He's got to make out his report.
Pete Lanton, Doctor.
Peter, you won't lose faith again. You will stand up, self-reliant, and you will face life courageously and with new hope.
Come on, Mason. We ain't got all night. Let's get going.
Doc.
Yes, Peter?
Merry Christmas to you, Doc.
Thank you, sir.
Dr. Mason, I'd like to speak to you.
Yes?
Mason, Mac tells me you didn't even open your bag on your first call.
No, it wasn't necessary.
Well, now, don't misunderstand me, Mason. I can't begin to tell you how thankful I am that you're with us this evening, but...
But from now on, I'm not to use suggestion.
Or whatever it was you did use. Please follow standard materia medica in treating your cases. You're not offended?
Of course not.
Oh, that's fine, Dr. Mason. That's your call again.
3rd floor. 19 Water Street, 3rd floor. 19 Water Street, 3rd floor.
Well, Mac, you seem to be good at guessing. You were right the last time. What sort of call is this one going to be?
It's no guessing, it's experience. This time it's no drunk.
Oh, what do you think it is?
A birth, or maybe a death.
Christmas Eve. And someone is to live or die. It is better that one should live on Christmas Eve. Mac, let it be a birth we're going to.
No difference to me, Doc, a birth or a death. I just tried.
How long have you been doing it, Mac?
Like I told you, 8 rotten years, that's how long.
What you call 8 rotten years were truly 8 glorious years, filled with service to your fellow men.
Cut the chatter, Mason. This is it. Number 19 is Red Brick House upstairs. Come on, make a snap here. 3rd floor rear.
Doctor, here.
Keep your shirt on, we're coming.
Even if you're hurried. Doctor.
Tears on Christmas Eve, young man.
I'm afraid you're too late.
You thought it'd be a birth. You're wrong, Mason. It sure looks like...
Wait, Mac. Don't say it. No. Perhaps we're not too late. Tell me, how is the mother?
She's all right. But our baby...
Yes, your baby.
Crippled. Terribly crippled. We prayed for our child to be born on Christmas Eve. We thought we'd be so happy tonight.
Come now. No tears. Not on Christmas Eve. I'll have a look at the infant. Wait here, both.
Make it snappy, Mason. Doc Garrett's always nervous when all the ambulances are out. It's only 9 o'clock. Hey, what's the idea of bringing the kid out here?
Let me hold him, Doctor, please.
Of course. There you are. Ah, the child knows his father.
Yes. He knows me. He knows me. But he'll hate me when he's old enough to realize it. Doctor.
Yes?
His arms. His arms.
What about the kid's arms?
They're straight. Straight as arrows.
So what?
But before they were terribly twisted. Both his arms were terribly crippled.
You can see for yourself the child is normal.
But I tell you, before when I looked at... I swear they were twisted. And now...
You were under great tension. Perhaps your imagination...
Yes. Oh, my little son. Aren't his tiny fingers so tiny?
And now go in and tell your wife truthfully that her baby is normal in every way. Show her.
Yes. Yes.
You both look forward to a happy Christmas Eve. It is. Remember, tears are not for Christmas Eve.
Hey. Ah, come on, Mason. Forget all that good fairy stuff. This fella's hopped up enough as is. Let's go.
Yes, Mac.
Oh, Doctor.
Yes?
Merry Christmas, Doctor.
Thank you. A Merry Christmas to you, sir.
Mason! Dr. Mason!
Yes, Dr. Garrett, you've been looking for me?
Yes, I...
471
only one bell. Go on, Dr. Garrett.
Well, I must speak to you, Mason, about the telegram.
Yes?
The telegram which said that Dr. Mason was killed. The one you said was a mistake.
Did I, Dr. Garrett?
I've just spoken to the sender of that telegram. I have just finished talking to Dr. Mason's mother on the long-distance telephone.
That's my call. I'm sorry, I must go, Doctor.
Now, wait, man, wait. I want to talk to you. Listen to me, please. Dr. Mason was killed, do you hear? 3 hours before you walked into my office, he was killed while driving to the Albany Railroad Station. And his mother saw him die.
Well, Mac, what is this call going to be? A birth or a death?
I don't know, Mason, but I don't like this one. There's something about this call that give me a funny chill all of a sudden.
Because it's in your neighborhood?
What do you think this call is going to be?
Because it is your wife.
Ellie!
Is this job a rotten job, Mac? Now that you can rush a doctor to her side? Is this ambulance still a crate? Now that it's speeding to answer your own wife's cry of pain?
Stop that kind of talk, will you? You're trying to make me think something's happened, Ellie. I ain't afraid. So I'll say it again. Yeah, driving this crate is still a job, and a bum one at that.
And the 8 years?
Rotten years, wasted years. Could have had my own garage and repair business. I'd be in the chips today instead of...
Yes, you would have made more money.
Instead of risking my neck driving all night, twisting in and out of elk pillars, skidding on slippery car tracks.
Why, Mac? Why did you do it?
How many times I gotta tell you that nothing in this whole cockeyed world could have kept me sitting back of this wheel, except my wife. If it wasn't for Ellie,
What's the matter, Mac?
Nothing, I guess. That house we just passed, that was ours. And, the lights are on.
Is that unusual?
Just means Ellie ain't home. She's probably going down to the corner as far as the drugstore. Yeah, Ellie walks the dog there every night about this time. And...
Yes, Mac?
The call we're going to is that drugstore.
Yes, Mac.
Mason, you got a hunch what it is. Tell me what it is.
It is not a birth, Mac.
Let me through! Let me through! I get it! Ellie! Ellie! It's Ellie! Mason, do something! You gotta do something! Please! Please!
We will take her to the hospital, Mac. The next call will be ours.
812 East River Road.
Yes, you heard. The other ambulance just went out.
Are you crazy? My wife is upstairs in the operating room, and you expect me to leave the hospital? To go out and drive?
There are people who need us, Mac. Our work tonight is not yet finished.
But Ellie needs me. What do I care about other people?
There are people, Mac, who will cry out for help. As your wife did. We will answer.
Not me. I ain't moving.
It is Christmas Eve, Mac.
Christmas Eve. What a Christmas present I got.
64 West Street.
It's our turn, Mac.
64 West Street.
All right, Mason. But this is
64
my
West
last
Street.
trip for the night. No, not for the night. Forever. I'm through, do you hear? All washed up. For good.
I'm terribly sorry, Mac. We did the best that we could.
Dying. Ellie's dying. And
She asked for you, Mac. Just once. Just while you were out on that West Street call. Then she lapsed into coma.
Ellie? Isn't there a chance, Doc Garrett?
I doubt it.
While I'm out with the crepe, my wife calls for me, and now she's unconscious. Think of others, he said, because it's Christmas Eve. What do you got to say now, Mason? You took me from her. You made me go out and drive that rotten ambulance while she...
You went to help others. To bring aid to the suffering.
A lot of consolation, that is.
Remember how the old woman blessed you. With tears in her eyes.
Oh, I can't think of nothing. But Ellie's going. You with your big ideas and your fine speeches. What do you know about sorrow and suffering?
All that there is to know, my son.
Just now, when you said that, for a second, you got old. You look more than 1,000 years old. I must be seeing things on account Ellie is leaving me, and I'm crazy with grief and sorrow.
Grief and sorrow for you. Yet how much you did to relieve others of that pain.
It's funny, Mason, but...
Yes, Mac?
When you said those words, I thought of my 8 years. The 8 rotten years. And they didn't seem so bad. Not anymore. Now I kind of like them.
Sorrow worketh repentance. You should, Mac. You should glory in them. 8 years of bringing a healer to the suffering. 8 years of rushing the torn and the smashed to the hands of the mender.
Yeah. The words, they just take the pain right out of me. They just draw it out.
Now that your work for this night is finished, Mac, I will walk home with you.
Go home? While Elliot...
Yes.
Okay, if you say so, Mason. But for the life of me, I don't know why I'd take your word. What a break. What a rotten break I got on Christmas Eve.
You love her a great deal, don't you?
Yeah.
Soon it will be midnight.
A Merry Christmas.
How did she greet you each night when you returned from your driving?
How did Ellie greet... Why do you ask that, Mason?
Tell me, Mac. I want you to say it.
Well, she...
Tell me.
She's like a happy, anxious kid. She'd go out and put on the porch light
Didn't matter even if the weather was terrible. I used to bawl her out for it. Tell her she'd catch pneumonia. But she'd always put on a porch light and stand outside there, waiting
for her shining knight returning from his errands of mercy.
As soon as she'd see me come around the next corner, she'd call to me.
And now, will you continue your driving?
Yeah. I'm sticking to it, Mason. Even though Ellie won't be around, I'm sticking.
This is your corner.
Yeah.
Look to your house, my son.
The light. A porch light. It's on. Mason. Your eyes. Mason. Mason. Where are you?
Look to your house, my son.
It can't be! It's Ellie! Ellie, darling, it is you! Thank God! Thank God! And forgive me. I did not know who you were.
Have just heard the 6th annual Pillsbury presentation of Grand Central Station's traditional Christmas drama.
73 years ago, December 18, 1951, Grand Central Station on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Coming up next, we're going to go back 90 years to an episode of Calling All Cars.
The international struggles of our world may lead to nuclear holocaust. To survive, you must have protection from radioactive fallout.
In the past, heavy equipment necessitated a long, costly operation for out-of-home shelter installation.
Today, Survive-All basement-type shelters offer a combination steel and concrete do-it-yourself fallout shelter.
Civil Defense approved, Survive-All offers maximum protection from fallout and falling debris, plus a basic equipment kit for family survival.
There's low initial cost and FHA approval. Nothing down and 5 years to pay.
For your family's protection, see a Survive-All shelter today.
And we have information on Survive-All. That's down in the show notes. You can also find a link at classicradio.stream. Okay, let us go back 90 years, December 18th, 1934, for the West Coast program Calling All Cars. And as I said, this is from 90 years ago, December 18th, 1934.
Calling All Cars, a presentation of the Rio Grande Oil Company.
San Diego police calling all cars. Attention all cars. Broadcast 56. A holdup and a murder. Suspect driving a Pontiac coupe. License 1454022. 1454022. Last seen in the vicinity of 4th and B Street. Stand by for further information. That's all.
On the busiest street of the West's largest city, streams of traffic speed endlessly by. At the intersection of a quiet side street, a car waits impatiently for an opening to cross the boulevard.
For heaven's sake, Henry. We can't wait all day. Can't you edge into that traffic? They'll stop for you.
Not those wild-eyed drivers. I'll wait for an opening.
Well, here comes one now. There's a clear space. Get across quick.
All right.
Henry, look out! Hurry faster! Oh!
Gil! Come on, hold that car. Get that man out.
All right, make a little room here. Back up, everybody. Let's get these people out of here. Well, how about it, mister? You okay?
Yes, I guess so. Marie, are you hurt?
No, but it's not your fault I'm not, Henry. Of all the crazy drivers...
I couldn't help it, Marie. I tried to get out of the way. The car seemed to stall. It jumped, and then it stopped.
Well, you're all right now. Step over here where I can make my report. All right, get going. Move along, you. Come on, make a little room here. All right, now you say your car stalled, eh? Just when you were trying to get across in a hurry. You're probably using a lot of cheap gasoline.
Maybe it was the gasoline.
You ought to use the gasoline you can depend on in emergencies.
Is there such a thing?
Oh, sure. Look at the punishment our police cars take. We snap them from a crawl to top speed 50 times a day. They used to sputter and jump, too, until we found a gasoline that wouldn't stall in emergencies.
Why, what gasoline do your police cars use?
Huh? Well, I thought everybody knew that police cars use nothing but Rio Grande cracked gasoline.
Oh, yes. Yes. I remember. Police car performance, of course.
Sure. You can't save any money using cheap gasoline. I'll bet police cars get more mileage with Rio Grande cracked gasoline than you do. And our gasoline won't fail in emergencies like yours did.
Say, are you selling Rio Grande cracked gasoline?
Well, maybe us cops are a little too enthusiastic about it, but that gasoline has helped us out of a lot of jams. Let's get this report. What's your name now?
Tonight we are honored to have in our studio as our guest Chief George Sears of the San Diego Police Department, who has a message for you. Chief Sears.
Good evening, friends of the West. This is the first time I've been privileged to address you on this great radio program since I became chief of the San Diego Police Department. Some time ago, our department was honored by calling all cars, and the Agua Caliente money car holdup was dramatized. Tonight, I am happy to bring you another spectacular case from the files of our department. The moving picture murder, cold-blooded killing, which we relentlessly investigated until we had the satisfaction of seeing complete justice done. It took 5 years to get the second member of the murder duet, but never during those 5 years did our vigilance lag nor our determination weaken. And in the end, we got our man. How we got him, you are about to hear. On with the show.
Last time you ever think for me, or anyone else.
Gee, Eula, isn't this a swell picture? I get an awful thrill out of these gangster films.
Well, I don't like them. It's silly, I guess, but they scare me. Tickets? First aisle to the right, please. I never did like guns.
Oh, I don't mind them. I like pictures with lots of guns and fights and things in them.
Well, I don't. Tickets, please.
I ain't got a ticket. I want to see the guy with the dress suit.
What?
The guy in the dress suit, the manager of this theater.
Oh, well, the manager isn't here right now. He'll be back in the morning.
Well, that don't do me no good. Who is here?
Well, the assistant manager, Mr. Malloy, is in his office, I think.
Okay, he'll do. Where's his office?
Right up those stairs and then to the right. I'll go up and see if he can see you now.
And I'll go with you.
Oh, here it is. If you'll wait just a minute.
Don't worry, I'll wait.
Come in.
Mr. Malloy, there's a man outside, and he says he wants to see the manager.
Well, what does he want?
Well, he didn't say, Mr. Malloy, but I don't like the way he's acting. It sounds as if he were drunk or something.
Well, send him in, Miss Snyder. I'll soon find out what his trouble is.
Yes, sir.
Maybe Willis and I'd better leave while you talk to this bird.
Yeah, Joe. Henry and I will take a stroll around the block.
No. Stay here. I don't know what this fellow wants, but it'll probably only take a minute or so to find out.
This is Mr. Malloy.
Come in. Thank you, Miss Snyder. You may go.
Yes, sir.
Well, what can I do for you?
Stick up your hands. I mean this, and I don't want any monkey business. Stick 'em up.
Look here, this isn't going to do you any good. All I have to do is...
Stick up your hands and shut up. Open that safe over there.
I'm sorry, but I can't.
Open that safe.
I don't know the new combination. It was changed yesterday.
Don't hand me that. You got the combination.
Well, all right.
Keep your hands away from that pocket.
Oh!
As the mortally wounded assistant manager falls to the floor, the cold-blooded killer wheels, rips the door open, and disappears into the darkness of the theater corridor. Stunned, Malloy's two companions stand horrified an instant. Then Peterson springs to Malloy's side as Gregg rushes through the door, down the stairs and out through the theater entrance, just in time to see the killer jump into a coupe with another man and drive away. Gregg leaps into his own car and starts in pursuit of the fleeing bandit. Down through the middle of the San Diego business district roar the two cars, skinning through traffic, ignoring stop signs. At the corner of 4th and B Streets, Gregg is forced to abandon the chase when traffic becomes too congested. However, he has memorized the license number of the other car, and armed with a good description of the killer, he goes to the police station and reports the shooting. In the meantime, back in the manager's office, Peterson has called the police ambulance and is waiting for it to arrive.
Somebody get the other towel. There, you're going to be all right, Joe. Why doesn't that ambulance get here?
All right, where is it? Where's the man that's hurt?
Right in there, Doctor.
Okay. All right, let's take a look here.
He's lost an awful lot of blood, Doctor. I tried to stop it, but I'm afraid I couldn't do much.
You're right. You couldn't do much with that hole in his neck. Looks like it went right through the jugular vein. Fleming, you and Riddell get a litter and get him over to the hospital as fast as you can. I'm going to have to operate soon, or there won't be any use doing it at all.
What do you think, Doc? Will he pull out of it?
Well, that all depends on how soon we can get him to an operating table.
All right. Clear the passage there. Come on. Make room. Someone keep that mob back until we get out.
Wait a minute, Fleming. Wait a minute. Set him down. We can't wait to get him through that crowd. I'm going to operate here.
Good Lord, Doctor, you can't do that. You haven't got any facilities. You haven't even a nurse.
It's the only chance. He'll be dead in another 20 minutes. Fleming, keep these people back and get a light.
Oh, but Doctor, you can't...
If you want to help your friend, the best thing you can do is stay here, be quiet, and do exactly as I say. Understand?
Yes, sir.
All right. Hand me that bag.
Here it is.
That's right. Fleming, you hold that light over here a little where I can see what I'm doing. There. Wait a minute. I want to ask you people to be as quiet as possible. This man's life depends on all of you.
Something. Let's look. Oh!
Somebody take that woman away from here. Now, if we can just get this jugular tied together. There. Hand me that hemostat. There. All right, boys. That's the best we can do for the present. Let's go.
What do you think, Doc?
He's got just one chance in 1,000.
But despite the efforts of Dr. Brust, Malloy dies as the ambulance roars through the streets of San Diego towards the hospital. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Detective George Sears and Detective Sergeant Frank Bowe of the San Diego Police speed to the scene of the shooting, and there, surrounded by scores of curious onlookers, question the witnesses, Miss Snyder and Mr. Peterson.
Henry Peterson, that right?
Yes.
Now, Mr. Peterson, I'd like to ask you a few questions. What did the killer look like?
Well, I'd say he stood a little under 6 feet. I guess he weighed somewhere around 145 pounds.
How old would you say the man was?
Well, I don't think he was very old, around 26 or 7, I'd imagine.
26 or 7. Anything about him that might help us identify him? Any peculiar manner of speech or accent or scars of any sort?
Why, yes. As a matter of fact, he had a scar of some sort in his upper lip. Looked as though it might have been a hair lip operation.
That's good. Now, how was he dressed?
Well, he had on sort of a reddish-brown suit. No, I don't think he had any hat. No, I'm sure he didn't.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Peterson. This will be a great help in running that man down.
The two detectives return to headquarters and turn in their information. Within 10 minutes, the call is being flashed to every available officer on the force. Stopper police guards are placed in all main arteries leading from the city and warned to look for the Pontiac Coupe license number 1454022. With mechanical precision, the police organize a drag net that completely covers the city. At the corner of 5th and University Avenues, motorcycle officers Comstock and Remington stop to call in to Central Station.
Remington, corner of 5th and University. What? Yeah? Yeah, at the Fox California Theater, yeah? Shot, eh? Yeah, wait a minute. Hey, take this license number, Archie, will you?
Yeah.
1454022. You got it?
Okay. I'll write it down over here under the street lamp. 1454022.
Right. All right, we'll watch for it.
What's the dope, Tom?
A fellow shot an attempted holdup. Died on the way to the hospital. Well, we might as well do a little cruising around. You can't tell when we might...
Tom, look at this bird coming down University. Boy, he's really traveling. See if you can get a good look at his plates as he comes up.
Yeah, I can see him now. 1, 4, 5, 4... Say, Archie, that's the bird we're looking for.
Well, of all the lucky... Come on, Tom, let's go.
The two officers jump on their motorcycles and start after the fleeing car. At the next block, it pulls up for a boulevard stop. Comstock orders it over to the curb. The driver looks back, hesitates, then starts to obey. As Comstock climbs off his motor and approaches the car, he's met by a hail of bullets. A sudden shock in his right shoulder, and he spins, grasps for support, and then fails to the street. His partner, Remington, opens fire as the driver of the bandit car hastily throws it in gear and careens off down the street, leaving a trail of whining bullets directed at Remington, who, stopping only long enough to ascertain that Comstock is not badly hurt, leaps on his motorcycle and continues the chase. The night air of San Diego was suddenly split by the scream of Remington's siren, the powerful roar of motors, and the deadly crack of revolver shots. Homeward-bound workers, groups of party-bound revelers, homeless tramps stop in the street, transfixed with excited thrills, as the death cart and his blazing pursuer scream by. As they near the waterfront, a low fog suddenly blankets the streets, hiding everything in its shroud-like gloom. Unable to see, Remington is forced to abandon the chase. He runs into a drugstore and phones headquarters, asking that every available police car, motorcycle officer, and detective be sent out to the immediate vicinity. Realizing that the killer and his driver cannot get far in the fog, he dashes back to his motorcycle and blindly rides up one street, down another. Suddenly, directly in front of him, a car looms up out of the fog. Jamming on his brakes, he climbs out and, gun in hand, approaches it. The car is empty. Remington makes a more thorough examination. It is the deserted murderer's car. In the back seat, he finds a blood-stained cap. His speeding bullets have not all been wasted. "20 minutes later, a blockade has been thrown around the area, covering a section 5-block square. Policemen hurry through apartment houses, private dwellings, every place that might possibly be used as a hiding place for the fugitives. The police dragnet slowly narrows the search down to a cul-de-sac, a canyon-like ravine that runs for a block behind a row of apartments. Searchlights are set up on the edge of the cliff, and while their startled beams stab the fog and darkness with pencils of light, officers beat through the heavy underbrush, clubs in one hand, guns in the other. Behind one of the powerful searchlights, Walter D. Wilson, an ex-serviceman and friend of the police, is swinging the beam of blue-white light back and forth along the edge-like ravine. Standing by him, a companion strains his eyes, looking for any suspicious movement that might mean the killer's hiding place.
See anything? No, it's so foggy down here, it'd be a miracle to find anything. Reminds me of some of those nights in France.
Yeah. It's cold around here. Wish we had some coffee.
Say, Walter, swing that thing over to the right a bit. There, hold it a minute.
See something?
Well, I couldn't be sure, but it looked like someone moving around. Probably just a shadow.
Nothing moving now. Might as well turn it back where it was.
Yeah, I guess it was just my nerves. Kind of gets you standing out here peering into a gully all night.
Wait a minute. You see that clump of bushes over there? The beam of my light just swept by it.
Shoot the light back there.
Wait a minute. I'll pull the gag we used to pull at the front when we were looking for enemy patrol. You keep your eye glued on that spot. I'll swing the light up the ravine, then snap it back there and see if I can surprise them.
Okay.
All right. I'm up at the end of the ravine now.
There he go.
There he goes.
Making for the back of that apartment house. Hey, boys, there he goes. Into the basement of that brick apartment. Go get him.
Okay.
Hey, hold that light on him.
Come on, it's the side of this hill.
All right, boys, let's get him.
Two officers close in on the apartment building. The basement is pitch black. Anyone going in the door offers a perfect target for the desperate gunman. Finally, Detective Sergeant Hughes and Deputy Sheriff Blake decide that the only thing to do is to go in and take the chance. With complete disregard for personal safety, the two men check over their guns, take a last look around, and then start sneaking up on the silent entrance.
Easy now. We got a pretty good chance of getting a crack at him before he has time to shoot.
Right. If he sees us first.
Oh, well.
All set?
Yeah. Let's go.
Easy. So far, so good. See anything?
Nothing.
Blackie, look. In the corner over there beside that barrel. What is it, a shadow?
We'll soon find out. Come out of there, you.
Come on, step out of there and make it fast.
I'm warning you, if you don't come out of there in 10 seconds, I'm going to let you have it.
Look out, he's got a gun.
All right, you asked for it.
That's that.
Yeah.
Coroner Schuyler C. Kelly arrives at the scene a short time later and from papers found on the body identifies it as that of Otto Andrews Morrissey, who lives on 8th Street, San Pedro. The appearance of the man, however, does not tally with the description given by the witnesses. This, then, is the body of the killer's accomplice, and the wanted man is still at large. All through the rest of that night, the manhunt continues. But by morning, it is obvious that somehow, perhaps during the excitement of the shooting, the real killer has managed to slip through the blockade. Meanwhile, San Diego police have traced the license plates and find that they are registered to one Stan Kramer of San Pedro. Los Angeles police are notified, and within a short time, officers from the San Pedro division arrive at Kramer's address.
Well, this is the place, all right. I wonder which apartment the guy lives in.
Yeah, that's the manager. Here's her apartment.
How do you do?
We're looking for a man by the name of Kramer. Stan Kramer. Does he live here?
Yes, he's in apartment 203.
And is he in?
Yes, Mr. Kramer's been ill for the last week.
Well, if he's in, we'll just run up and say hello. Come on, Harry.
Okay. Sort of lets him out. Been sick for a week.
Yeah, well, maybe it's all a stall. You know, I don't trust landladies when they speak English. Well, here we are. Now, on your toes, Harry. Maybe Mr. Kramer won't be so glad to see us. Here, push that bell.
Who is it?
Police officers. We want to ask you a few questions.
All right. Wait a minute. Now, what do you want?
You know a fellow by the name of Morrissey, Otto Morrissey?
Never heard of him.
Never heard of him, huh? What kind of a car do you drive?
I haven't got a car. I can't afford one.
Oh, you haven't got a car, huh?
No.
And how does it happen that a Pontiac coupe registered to you shows up in a beef in San Diego?
I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't been out of this apartment for over a week. You must have the wrong Kramer.
Now, listen, there's no use you beating around the bush. If you want to save yourself a lot of grief, you better start talking.
I don't know what this is all about. I've been right here in this apartment.
All right, Kramer. We know all about that, and we also know all about you. Get some clothes on. We're taking you down to headquarters.
Hey, you can't do that. I haven't done anything.
Well, then come clean. Isn't it a fact that you do own a car?
No.
Don't lie to us. You own a Pontiac coupe, license number 1454022.
All right. What if I do? What's wrong with a guy owning a car?
Well, there's nothing wrong with the guy owning a car, Kramer. The only thing wrong is when that car is used for a hold-up and someone gets bumped off. You're under arrest on suspicion of murder.
Oh, wait a minute. I didn't have anything to do with any hold-up. I thought you guys had a bootlegging rap on me. That's why I didn't want to let you in on the fact that I owned a car.
All right, then. Tell us all about that car and make it fast and through.
Well, I've been doing a little bootlegging just on a small scale, and I have a guy delivering for me. He's been using the car for the last few months whenever I didn't need it.
Yeah? Go on.
Well, last Sunday he come to me and wanted to buy the car. I wasn't going to use it, so I told him to go ahead.
Did he have anybody with him?
I don't know. He was alone when I talked to him.
What's this helper's name?
Say, listen, if I tell you guys all this, is anybody going to know who spilled it? I don't want to get a slug in my back.
Well, if you mean Morrissey, he won't bother you any because he was killed in San Diego trying to get away from the police.
Otto's dead?
Yeah, I thought that'd do the trick. All right, spit it if you know what's good for you.
Okay. The guy you want is probably Jim Durant. He was the other guy that borrowed the car.
Yeah, that's more like it. Have you got any pictures or anything that might help us find him?
I think there's an old passport around here. He used to be a sailor before he got into this racket.
Well, suppose you take a look around and see if you can find it. And don't try to pull anything fast on me because I got this coat on you all the time.
Okay. That ain't necessary.
Well, I'm the best judge of that.
I think his stuff's over in that suitcase in the corner. Yeah. Here's all his junk. Let's see. Yeah, here it is. There's some letters and some other stuff here, too.
Well, that's swell. It looks like Mr. Durant's days are numbered.
When the photograph on the passport is shown to Miss Snyder and Mr. Peterson, they positively identify it as the man who had shot Malloy. The San Diego police, now that they have photographs, fingerprints, and description to work with, prosecute the search with increased energy. But first days, then weeks, and finally months go by with no sign of the fugitive killer. $600 is spent on postage to mail circulars to every city, town, and county in the United States. Newspapers carry pictures of the wanted man and offer a reward for information concerning him. But no word is received. Durant has disappeared into oblivion. 5 years pass. It is March 1st, 1933. A little clothier's shop in a small town in Utah has just opened its doors, and the proprietor is sweeping the sidewalk out front when a customer approaches.
Morning, Dad. What do you got in the way of suits in your shop, huh? Something snappy.
I got just the latest thing from New York, the most beautiful suits you ever saw.
Well, let's go and take a look at them. As good as you say, I might buy one.
Yes, sir. Come right in.
All right, Dad. Let's see some of the snappy New York scenery, you know.
Here I got the piece goods that sells anywhere else for $50. I'll let you have it for $30.
Oh, nuts. Saw the same thing down the street for $25. Oh, I guess I don't want any of your
Wait
stuff.
Wait a minute, mister. Wait once. I show you something that you like. I'm cheap. Oh, you couldn't beat it. Here, genuine homespun. Feel the goods. The best you could find for the money.
How much?
Well, for you, I make it $20. And at that price, I'm losing money on it. But I give it to you if you want it.
Well, I'll think it over for a day or so, and if I decide yes, well, it's so.
Listen, I'm telling you, you couldn't lose it.
All right. I said I'd think it over. Hey, how much are your ties over there?
Those ties?
Yeah.
Only 50 cents and the best in the country.
Yeah? Bring them over here. Let me see them.
All right. Right away, I'll get them for you.
Yes, while you're over there, you might get me some handkerchiefs, too. Colored ones, you know.
Sure, you bet. Here, I got some handkerchiefs. You're going to like these. They're blue. It would look good on you.
Yeah, they're not bad. Well, I'll let you know about them when I decide on the suit.
But you ain't going to buy nothing this morning?
No, I'll see you tomorrow. So long.
No, goodbye. Schlimmel. You mess everything up and then don't buy anything? So what? I got to straighten up this stock once all over again. Yeah, what's this? There ain't no gloves in this drawer. But I put some there myself this morning. But they ain't here now. Maybe I'm getting absent-minded. But I was positive I put some in that drawer this morning.
Two days later, the suspicious proprietor is about to close up for the noon hour when the annoying customer again enters his shop. This time, the proprietor, keeping his eye on him, sees the man reach into a drawer filled with tie pins, studs, and collar buttons. Excusing himself for a minute, he goes to the door, beckons to the first man he sees, and asks him to phone the police. He then goes back and stalls the customer until the police arrive.
Well, what's the trouble here?
This man here is a thief.
Why, you lousy little... Quiet down, quiet. What's it all about?
2 days ago, I missed some gloves. This man, he was in here and talked to me about buying some clothes. And when I found the things was gone, I thought I'd maybe had a mistake. But today he comes back and I watched him, and he started to steal some other things when I didn't think I was looking.
Say, this old guy's nuts. Why, I never saw him before in my life. See, I got a good notion to smack you right in the nose, you meddling old...
What's your name, mister?
Oh, Ralph Hill.
Where do you reside?
Well, that's none of your business. I don't have to answer any questions. You haven't got anything on me.
Well, you're getting mighty hot under the collar for a young fellow who's done nothing. Think I'd better take you along down to the station. You can tell us all about it down there.
Hey, listen, you got no right to doing this. I know my rights.
All right. You can tell all that to the sergeant.
Before you should take him away, officer, could you maybe get back for me those things he just lifted from that drawer?
At the police station, the irate shoplifter is about to be booked for theft when an alert sheriff notices something familiar about his face. and looks through the bulletins of wanted men. Suddenly he stops before one marked B8078, wanted for murder, James Durant. The end of the long chase is at last reached. The Utah police notify San Diego, and Chief of Detectives Kelly of San Diego Police Department, accompanied by District Attorney Whelan, go to Utah, secure extradition papers, and bring Durant back. In the San Diego jail, the detectives question Durant.
Well, Durant, it's been a long chase. You've made a lot of people plenty sore at you.
Well, if it hadn't been for that mug in the clothing store, you guys never would have found me.
Oh, I think we would. You fellas can stay away just so long, and then you're bound to make a slip. Yours was in taking up the shoplifting racket.
Well, I never would have been in this mess if that guy at the theater hadn't made a pass for his gun.
He didn't have any gun. That was another of those mistakes I've been telling you about. All he was trying to do was to get the new combination of the safe out of his vest pocket.
On the level?
Sure, he didn't have a gun. You were just a little too nervous.
Gee, if I'd only known that, I wouldn't be here. I'd have gotten the dough, and all you guys would have on me is a robbery. Boy, was I dumb.
With the perfect case our officers had built against Durant, plus his previous criminal record, including a dishonorable discharge from the Navy and a term at Alcatraz, the killer didn't have a chance. He threw himself upon the mercy of the court and pleaded guilty to murder on March 10, 1933. District Attorney Whelan asked a supreme penalty, but on March 14th, the court sentenced Durant to Folsom Penitentiary for life.
Thank you, Chief Sears. Ladies and gentlemen, the last word in the scientific manufacture of gasoline is the Sinclair cracking process, which is used by the Rio Grande Oil Company, a Sinclair company, to create Rio Grande cracked gasoline, especially for motoring conditions in California and Arizona. This cracking process makes a livelier gasoline. It fires at the flash of the spark, winning for Rio Grande Cracked the title of fastest starting gasoline. Because cracking breaks up the atoms of energy, you get a steady, more powerful push on the pistons with Rio Grande Cracked. Whereas with uncracked gasolines, you get a sharp pound that causes vibration and knocking. You can get greater speed from Rio Grande Crack. And that's why this gasoline is preferred by so many police departments of California and Arizona cities. Wherever it is sold, Rio Grande Cracked gasoline powers more police cars, ambulances, fire engines, and other emergency equipment than any other brand.
San Diego Police calling all cars, attention all cars, cancellation broadcast 56 regarding a murder. Suspect now in custody. That's all.
Calling All Cars is written and produced by William N. Robeson. This is your narrator, Frederick Lindsley, saying good night for the Rio Grande Oil Company.
Yes, William N. Robeson, the guy responsible for so many great stuff that we think about in the 50s, was actually active in 1934 with Calling All Cars. 90 years ago, December 18, 1934, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Tomorrow, we're going to go back to 1948, Sunday, and we'll hear episodes of Jack Benny and Phil Harris and Alice Faye. And then we will hear an episode of the Aldrich Family, their Christmas show, the traditional Lum and Abner Christmas show. We'll hear another episode of Jonathan Thomas and his Christmas on the Moon. And we'll start a brand new Superman story, The Mechanical Man. That's all coming up on our next edition of Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on Thursday. Right now, though, an episode of Gunsmoke starring William Conrad.
A wise farmer knows that he must get his livestock under cover to protect them from radioactive fallout. An attack may never come, but it's wise to prepare now.
Shelters are important not just for humans, but from livestock and animals as well. We hear from a lot of you about Gunsmoke. and you enjoy William Conrad in many of those shows. So we're going to have one for you here, going back 69 years to December 18th, 1955, and the story of the Scared Kid.
Gunsmoke, brought to you by Chesterfield. To put a smile in your smoking, always buy Chesterfield. Made the modern way with Accuray.
Around Dodge City and in the territory on West, there's just one way to handle the killers and the spoilers, and that's with a U.S. Marshal and the smell of gun smoke. Gunsmoke, starring William Conrad. The transcribed story of the violence that moved west with young America. And the story of a man who moved with it.
I'm that man, Matt Dillon, United States Marshal. The first man they look for and the last they want to meet. It's a chancy job, and it makes a man watchful and a little lonely.
Matt?
Yeah, what, Kitty?
Come on over to that table in the back. I want you to meet Ida Stewart.
All right.
Ida's only been working here about a week.
Isn't that Gil Varden sitting with her?
Yeah,
Oh, hello, Miss Kitty. Marshal Dillon.
Hello, Gil.
Ida, I brought the Marshal over so she could meet him.
How do you do, Marshal?
Pleasure, Ida.
Gil's been telling me a lot about you. He's quite an admirer of yours.
Well, it's good to know I got some friends.
You always did right by me, Marshal.
You never caused anybody any trouble, Gil.
And I don't aim to.
Well, if you'll excuse us now, I promised I'd try to bring Gil a little luck at Faro. See you again, Marshal.
Sure, Ida.
Come on, Ida. And you'd better bring me luck, too.
She sure has a way with kids.
Kids? What? Gil's 20, Kitty.
To me, that's a kid.
Well, I've known kids who were men at 16.
Oh, sure. But there aren't many of them.
Yeah, maybe it's good to take your time growing up, huh?
Oh, maybe. As long as you don't take forever. Like Henry Gant over there. He must be 40, and all he's ever learned to be is a loudmouth bully. I don't call him grown up.
Well, I don't care much for Gant myself, Kitty.
Look at him right now, Matt. He's trying to horn in on Gil and Ida.
Yeah.
That Gant's mean. It's going to be trouble, Matt. Look, he and Gil are going outside.
Well, I better go throw some water on that.
Well, shoot him for me, Matt.
All right, everybody stay inside.
Stop it, Marshal. He'll shoot him.
I'll stop it, Ida.
Okay, Gil. You're wearing a gun? Use it.
Hold it, you men.
Now, how'd he get here?
I won't have any gunplay, you know that.
He's gonna shoot me because I call his girl a bad name, Marshal. Ain't that something?
If there's any shooting, I'll do it, Gant.
All right. I'll fight him barehanded.
Why, you little scut.
That's enough, Gant. Now, you leave him alone and get out of here.
I'll kill you, Gant. One way or another, I'll kill you.
You hear that, Marshal? He means he's gonna shoot me in the back. He wouldn't dare try it no other way.
I've heard all I want to hear. I told you to leave, Gant.
He's a coward. He's a dirty little coward.
You know what he called Ida, Marshal?
Forget it, Gil. And you forget about killing him, too.
No, I won't. I'll get him.
You want to hang for killing a man like Henry Gant?
I don't care.
You don't? Huh?
No.
Then maybe Kitty was right. Maybe you are only a kid after all.
your friends this year this easy way. Give Chesterfields this year so bright and gay. Wrapped and ready, they're the best to buy. Cartons of Chesterfields, they satisfy.
This Christmas, give everyone Chesterfields. Chesterfields are easy to give because they come ready to give in a bright red special holiday carton that's wrapped in its own colorful Christmas ribbon. Everyone enjoys Chesterfield's smoother, cooler smoking pleasure. So, to all your friends this year, say, Merry Christmas with cartons of Chesterfields. No wrapping, no tying. They're easy to give because they come ready to give. Chesterfields in the bright red special holiday carton.
Wrapped and ready, they're the best to buy. Cartons of Chesterfields, they satisfy.
Morning, Doc.
Eh? Oh, wait a minute. Oh, well, good morning, Matt. Good morning.
You've been sleeping in that chair all night?
Oh, I wasn't asleep.
Oh? Well, your eyes were closed.
You ever hear of a man doing a little thinking?
What were you thinking about, Doc?
Oh, about sitting out here in the morning sun, settling my breakfast and breathing fresh air, wishing good for my friends and evil for my enemies.
That's pretty stout thinking, Doc.
Well, I was doing fine till you came along and spoiled it. Now, I might as well go up to my office and back to the sordid trade I'm in.
Now, what's his hurry?
Who is it?
Gil Varden.
Maybe he's being chased by Indians.
Yeah, he sure acts like it.
Or maybe he's just exercising his horse.
I'll stick with the Indian theory, Doc.
Yeah, oh, my. When I was a young man, I used to ride like that. Oh, I was fearless as an eagle. No wonder the women loved me.
You know, you better get up to your office, Doc. You don't handle this fresh air too well.
Oh, you think I'm lying? I know. You never heard about the time the preacher's daughter and I were about to elope, huh? You didn't hear that, did you?
I helped carry you home the night you invented that story, Doc.
Mr. Dillon! Mr. Dillon!
Seems like everybody's in a hurry this morning.
Henry Gant's been killed, Mr. Dillon.
What?
A cowboy found him half a mile north of town. He was shot in the back.
Gant was shot in the back.
Yes, sir, shot in the back. Must have happened last night sometime.
Well, we won't have much trouble catching his killer. He just rode by here. All right, let's go, Chester. By the time Chester and I picked up a couple of rifles at the office and got saddled, Gil Varden had a good start on us. So to make sure of catching him, we each took an extra horse along. We tracked him south and rode hard till noon without even seeing him. But then we found his horse. It had sold on him and was standing head down and feet apart near a wagon. And the wagon? It was sitting there with no team to pull it, but harness strewed all over the ground. And on the seat, stony-faced and unmoving, was a gray-haired country woman. Howdy, ma'am. I'm Marshal Dillon. I'm looking for the man who was riding that horse out there.
He's gone.
Well, what did he do? Take your team?
He took him.
Oh, ma'am, you just can't sit out here.
Can't go no place without a team.
There's a ranch about a mile west of here. Give that horse a little more rest and he can carry you that far. We'll rig a blanket on him for you, huh?
Can't leave my man here.
What?
My husband. He's in the back, Marshal, under them blankets.
Oh, what's the matter with him? Is he sick?
He's dead. Killed dead.
Man who stole your team?
He done it. He rode up and never said a word. My man reached in the back for his rifle and this fellow shot him.
I just can't believe Gil Varden would do a thing like that.
He was shaking like a leaf. He's plumb scared, Marshal. Scared of you, I guess.
He's got reason to be, ma'am. especially now.
Go catch him before he hurts anybody else. I'll manage here as soon as I stop aching a little.
Well, I don't like to leave you.
I'll be all right. But stop him. He's done enough.
Chester, bring a horse over, will you? We'll fix a rig for her.
Yes, sir.
My first husband was killed by Indians, Marshal. Bad as it was, I never hated them Indians. It's different now somehow.
Yes, ma'am. I'll catch him, ma'am, I promise you.
I sure do feel sorry for that poor lady, Mr. Dillon.
Well, I guess Gil figures he can't hang but once, Chester.
What got into him? He's the last man in the world I'd expect to run wild killing people.
Like she said, he's scared. Blind, crazy, scared, no telling what he'll do next.
My. Hey, look, there's a couple of buffalo out there.
Yeah, I've been watching them, but they aren't buffalo.
No?
They're horses.
Yeah, you're right. One of them just put his head up. Say, it must be that team. They're big enough.
Yeah.
I don't see Gil.
No.
Say, maybe he's laying out in the grass there waiting for us.
Yeah, maybe.
There's something on the ground there. Looks like a man.
It is a man, and he's lying face up.
He must have got throwed and knocked out, huh?
I've won that team. Gil's a better rider than that.
Well, something's happened to him.
That isn't Gil, Chester.
It's some cowboy, Mr. Dillon.
Yeah.
He's been shot.
Well, it looks like Gil did a little horse trading, Chester. The rough way.
He left this fellow the team and a bullet in the chest. That boy's really gone crazy.
We'll catch him quick enough unless this man was riding an awful good horse.
There's no way of telling about that.
No. Well, let's get busy. We buried the stranger as best we could, and then took up Gil Varden's trail again. By mid-afternoon, his tracks showed we were closing on him. Still, it was almost dusk before we saw a sod hut up ahead, and a saddled horse standing in front of it. At one side was a corral holding 2 other horses. But Gil and whoever owned the place were nowhere in sight. We made a circle, rode up behind the hut, and dismounted.
He ain't been here very long, Mr. Dillon. That horse of his is still winded.
Well, I don't know whether to wait for him to come out or go in after him.
It'd be a lot safer to wait, if you ask me.
There might be somebody in there with him.
Either way, we've got him now.
Look, Chester, you wait at the edge of the cabin there. If he runs out alone, take him, huh?
All right, sir.
We're too late. All right, drop your gun, Gil.
No!
You all right, Mr. Dillon?
Yeah, come on in, Chester.
Did he kill that fellow?
I'll take a look. You get Gil's gun. He's still conscious.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he killed him, all right.
Gil don't look hurt too bad.
I tried to shoot him in the shoulder, but I'm afraid one bullet went a little low.
His eyes is open.
Gil, can you talk?
You busted my chest.
Here, let me open your shirt for you. Well, I don't know. You might live at that.
Not with 2 bullets in me.
You want to try it, Gil?
Try what?
There's a wagon outside. It'll be a rough trip, but we might get you into docks.
You shoot a man, and then you try to save him.
I've done it before.
I asked this fellow to trade horses, but he figured I was running, and he tried to jump me. I shot him.
You shot a lot of people today, Gil.
I didn't want to. I didn't know what I was doing, except running. I heard about Gant. I knew it was me you'd be after.
What do you mean you heard about Gant?
I'm getting dizzy. I'm gonna fall. Hold me, Marshal.
You're lying on the floor, Gil.
I'm gonna fall. Is he dead?
No, he's still breathing.
What was that he said about Gant?
I don't know what he meant, but he sure didn't admit killing him. Now, let's get him back to Dodge if we can, and maybe we can find out what this is all about.
Stop, shop, for all your friends this year, this easy way. Give Chesterfields this year so bright and gay. Wrapped and ready, they're the best to buy. Cartons of Chesterfields, they satisfy.
This Christmas, give everyone Chesterfields. Chesterfields are easy to give because they come ready to give in a bright red special holiday carton that's wrapped in its own colorful Christmas ribbon. Everyone enjoys Chesterfield's smoother, cooler smoking pleasure. So, to all your friends this year, say, Merry Christmas with cartons of Chesterfields. No wrapping, no tying. They're easy to give because they come ready to give. Chesterfields in the bright red special holiday carton.
Wrapped and ready, they're the best to buy. Cartons of Chesterfields, they satisfy.
You go back up to the docks, Chester. I'll wait in the office. When Gil comes to, you let me know, huh?
All right, Mr. Dillon. He's an awful tough boy, ain't he?
Yeah, you had to be to survive that trip.
It wore me out, and I wasn't even shot. Oh, say, if you leave the office, you'd better let me know where at you'll be.
Yeah, I will, Chester. Hi, Kitty.
Hello, Matt.
Hello, Ida. Oh, what are you girls doing here?
We've been waiting for you, Matt. We heard you brought Gil in this morning.
Yeah, he's up at Doc's.
How is he, Marshal?
But he's got 2 bullets in him, Ida. He survived that wagon trip, but Doc can't tell much yet.
What do you think?
Well, he's still alive, and I've seen men pull through shot up a lot worse than he is.
Even if he does live, he'll hang, won't he?
Yeah, he'll hang. I'm sorry, Ida.
It's all my fault.
Your fault.
Ida did it, Matt.
Did what?
Killed Henry Gant.
Ida killed...
Yeah, she came and told me about it after she had left. Gant tried to run off with her, but she got his gun away from him and she killed him with it.
Is this true, Ida? Or are you trying to cover for Gil?
Gil's gonna hang anyway, it's true.
Then it was self-defense. Why didn't you come tell me about it?
I was scared to. I didn't think about it being self-defense. I was too scared to think.
Yeah, she was, Matt. I had a terrible time calming her down. She's telling the truth, all right.
Yeah, I believe her.
If Gil hadn't run everything, it'd be fine.
He got scared too, Ida. Real scared.
But why? He didn't do anything.
Well, he'd threatened to shoot Gant. When he heard about it, well, I guess he was like you. He just stopped thinking.
Oh, Miss Kitty. Miss Ida.
Hello, Chester.
I didn't expect to find you here.
Is Gil conscious, Chester?
No, sir, he ain't.
How is he?
He's dead. He died just a couple minutes ago. Doc done all he could for him.
That poor scared kid. You killed him, Marshal. Why? Why'd you have to kill him? He was only a boy.
Oh, that isn't fair.
What chance did he have against you? You shot him down easy. Why'd you have to do it?
I don't like it any better than you do, Ida. But Gil just killed 3 men. And I don't think they wanted to die any more than he did.
In a moment, our star, William Conrad. Remember, friends, this Christmas give everyone Chesterfields. Say, have you remembered the milkman, the postman, and the others who make life easier for you during the year? Well, there's still plenty of time to get them Chesterfields. Just drop by your neighborhood cigarette dealers anytime this coming week. You'll find Christmas cartons of Chesterfields are easy to give because they come ready to give in a bright red special holiday carton with its own colorful Christmas ribbon. So, to all your friends this year, say Merry Christmas with cartons of milder, better tasting Chesterfields.
You know, Dodge City was the end of the railroad and the beginning of the frontier. And it was filled to overflowing with people from all walks of life. Well, next week during the Christmas season, 2 real mountain men come to Dodge to win their 3-generation feud just in time for Twelfth Night. And that was the West. Good night.
Gunsmoke, produced and directed by Norman Macdonald, stars William Conrad as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal. Our story was specially written for Gunsmoke by John Meston, with music composed and conducted by Rex Corey. Sound patterns by Tom Hanley and Bill James. Featured in the cast were Sam Edwards, Eleanor Tannen, John Daner, and Ann Morrison. Harley Bear is Chester, Howard McNear is Doc, and Georgia Ellis is Kitty.
Make Christmas their red letter day, their L&M red letter day. Give 'em the Christmas carton full of America's best. Yes, give L&M's on Christmas Day to friends who smoke the builder way. L&M's got everything, the gift for Christmas Day.
This is it. For Christmas, L&M filters and the handsome Christmas carton. No fuss with ribbons or paper. It's all wrapped and ready to give. This Christmas, give L&M Christmas cartons.
Join us again next week for another specially transcribed story as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal, fights to bring law and order out of the wild violence of the West in Gunsmoke.
December 18th, 1955, 69 years ago, Gunsmoke here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. I ask this a lot, and I hope that you're responding to it, that you do some simple things to help us with the show, if you like what we do. Make sure, however you're listening to us, you make sure you leave us a positive review, a 5-star rating, thumbs up, whatever it is. You can also write, like I said, write us a review. Tell people what you like about the show and how you listen. And share the shows. That's the best thing you can do, because there may be friends of yours that enjoy hearing the show. So that is important as well. And, of course, over at classicradio.stream, you can buy something from the page there. Or if you'd like to be so nice, you can buy me a copy, and that helps as well. classicradio.stream. Up next, an episode of Guest Star starring Red Skelton.
There is a defense against radioactive fallout. During enemy attack, get to a shelter immediately. Stay there until local officials advise you it's safe to leave. Be prepared.
Guest Star goes back to the war bond days, and a quarter-hour program that existed into at least the 60s and possibly into the 70s. 15 minutes using celebrities and music and entertainment to convince people to buy United States savings bonds. This is a program from 1955, and it comes up as being on this date, although the programs are distributed by transcription discs, so they might not have aired on this particular day, but we'll see. This goes back, as I said, 69 years to December 18th, 1955. Red Skelton.
The United States Treasury Department presents Guest Star with David Rose and his orchestra, yours truly, Del Sharbutt, and starring Red Skelton. How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? This is Del Sharbutt, your host for Guest Star, a transcribed feature for United States savings bonds, presented by this station as a public service. For Christmas and throughout the year, there's no finer gift than United States savings bonds. They're an investment in the happiness of those you love. Truly the gift that keeps on giving. Give savings bonds and buy them for yourself. Today we're very happy to have as our star the one and only Red Skelton in an unusual sketch for the holiday season. But first, let's listen as David Rose and his orchestra bring us Dave's version of Victor Herbert's Toyland. Thank you, David Rose. Well, now, here he is, friends. Red Skelton in The Meaning of Christmas.
The time, Christmas Eve. The place, this room. We're making a last-minute check of our list to be sure we haven't forgotten anyone. We pause for a second and offer a prayer for our neighbors. We wish all of them a Merry Christmas. The children have hung their stockings and are being shooed off to bed. In the stillness of the room stands a young fir tree, the tree of the Christ child. The stillness changes our thoughts. we hear the tiny trees speaking.
I am a widow Christmas tree, but a confused Christmas tree because I don't know why I is here. I was chosen from million of widow trees just like me to stand in this room. Although I am very young, in a few days I will wither away. Me green coat will fade and me needles will drop off. Why am I standing here all decorated? What good are decorations if the deeds are not remembered? They hang decorations on heroes, yet heroes like Christmas trees are forgotten, only to be remembered if needed to serve another purpose. Beneath me branches gifts are placed. They are wrapped in gay colors and they're tied with bright ribbons. They are the tokens of friendship, the spirit of Christmas from those who gave from the goodness of their heart. Shall we stop while you hear the receiver speak?
Here's another package.
Where's it from?
From your boss. Wonder what it is.
It won't be much. You'd think with all his money, give out with something worthwhile.
Is this why I was brought here? Am I serving me purpose? Is this the true meaning of the spirit of giving? Don't they know that Christmas is the birthday of the Christ child? Not a holiday for the greedy. Why am I standing here anyway? What is my purpose? What's that? There's somebody on the roof. It's reindeers. Oh, I remember the sound of their little hoofs. I remember how they used to play around me with branches in the forest. Someone's coming down that chimney. Who it is? Who it is?
Merry Christmas! They're all asleep. Well, I think I'll just rest for a second. My, what a beautiful Christmas tree.
Thank you.
What?
I said thank you. You said I was beautiful, so I said thank you.
By golly, old Santa Claus's ears are playing tricks on him. I could have sworn that tree spoke.
I did speak, Santa Claus.
But why in such a sad way? Christmas trees are supposed to be happy.
I can't be happy because I can't figure out me purpose in being here.
Well, tell me, little tree, haven't you ever been happy?
Oh, yes, back in the forest. I remember how every spring the same birds who flew south for the winter would return and rebuild their homes that the blizzard had destroyed in me branches. And how the wind would blow through me fur and make me whisper music. And the birds would join in and sing. We were the sounds of the earth, a symphony unwritten. I was happy then because at least I know me purpose for being there.
But you're making music now? Doesn't it do you good to know that you're bringing happiness?
Happiness?
You just wait until tomorrow morning when you hear the laughter of all the little children. And how proud you'll be when they dance about you. Oh, I wish I could be here to enjoy it with you. You see, I've never seen nor heard the children after I leave their presence.
Well, why don't you stick around, Santa Claus?
Well, for some reason, I've never been invited.
Oh.
It seems that after folks get what they want, Santa Claus isn't wanted until the next year when they need something else.
Then why does you keep coming back?
Because the children need someone to put the spirit of giving into their little hearts without greed. I come back each year, hoping to find men living not by man-made laws, but by the 10 Commandments. So you be happy, little tree. You have a wonderful purpose.
I can't be happy. They cut off my roots. I'll be dead in a few days, and without knowing me purpose for being here.
Well, maybe old Santa Claus can help you understand. Tonight, I paid a visit to a place, and 2 of my reindeer were knocked out cold.
No.
Yes. It was dark, and we ran head-on into an iron curtain.
Oh?
I should have known I wasn't wanted when I didn't see one Christmas tree to help light my way. No, little tree, there wasn't one child's stocking to be filled. Not one church holding services. And it was a great vast place without spiritual guidance.
You mean they don't have any churches?
Oh, yes. They have churches, and people are free to attend. But if they do, they can no longer be members of the party. And only members of the party receive ration cards. Oh, yes, there are churches, but they're not used for worship, little tree. They're used as museums to belittle the true spirit of giving. Now, do you understand your purpose for being here? As long as you and all other trees like you can stand in the home at Christmas, the world will know that freedom of man is still here, and that God's prayer, peace on earth, goodwill toward men, is still alive.
Yes, I see it now, Santa Claus. I feel so much better because I understand my purpose for being here.
Fine. Well, I must be on my way. Merry Christmas, little tree.
Merry Christmas, Santa Claus.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas for next year and every year. And maybe next year you'll be asked to stay a little longer than just over the holidays. Merry Christmas, Santa Claus. Merry Christmas.
Red Skelton in the meaning of Christmas. Welcome to Guest Star, Red. It was beautiful. And may I say, a very friendly and inspiring message.
Thank you, Del. It's nice to be here. I know I'm in friendly territory on the Savings Bond Show.
Right you are, Red. But speaking of friendship and the spirit of giving, may I suggest to our audience that they give savings bonds for Christmas to your family. Here's a gift that gets more valuable as time goes on. It's about the safest investment you could imagine, and someday it can make all your dreams come true. A college education for your youngsters, a home, or money for retirement. A gift of savings bonds this Christmas could well start your family on the road to financial security.
They certainly offer you a wonderful way to save. Not only are they safe, but they pay a fine return. $75 becomes $100 in 9 years and 8 months. And if you hold on to your E-bond past maturity, they keep on earning more interest. Now, that's my idea of a good investment.
How important that is. For once your family owns savings bonds, they just naturally save to buy more savings bonds. And the first thing you know, they've created the habit of regular saving.
That's so true, Del. Unless you save regularly, you seldom save at all. So, friends, why not get a head start on your future security with those safe, sure United States savings bonds? There's no better investment in the world.
Thank you, Red Skelton, and Merry Christmas to you. Thanks again for being with us on our Christmas program. Now I see David Rose and his orchestra sort of setting the stage for the ever beautiful and inspiring Adeste Fidelis. the past quarter hour, you've been listening to the special Christmas edition of Guest Star, featuring the popular favorite of radio and television, Red Skelton, with David Rose and his orchestra. Our thanks to Red and Dave for an outstanding show. And our thanks to this station, which brings you Guest Star each week as a public service transcribed for savings bonds. Now, this is Del Sharbutt, extending the best wishes of the United States Savings Bonds Division for your holiday happiness. So long, everybody.
55 years ago, December 18th, 1955, guest star on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. All righty, it's time for us to our next episode of Jonathan Thomas and his Christmas on the Moon.
Government officials suggest that every family store a 2-week emergency food and water supply in case of attack. Choose canned or dried foods that can be eaten without cooking.
Has nothing to do with the atomic bomb. Has everything to do with your own personal safety these days. Make sure you have an emergency supply of food. It will make a difference these days. Now, episode 20 of Jonathan Thomas and his Christmas on the Moon, King Squeebubbly and Santa Claus. This goes back 86 years to December 18th, 1938.
Don't turn that dial. This is the right station if you want to hear about Jonathan Thomas and his Christmas on the Moon. Poor old Santa Claus made a mistake. He's feeling so sad for the children's sake. He let some Sweetgwabiums in one night, and they captured him after a terrible fight. And now he's a prisoner in Squeeboblium land. They've tied him so tight, he can't move a hand. But don't you worry, because you've heard, of course, that the Man in the Moon and Gorgonzola the horse and Jonathan Thomas, who are all brave and strong, have promised to find him before very long. They've traveled quite far on this dangerous road, past the dragon's cave and the home of the toad. And they've had much trouble with the wicked old witch, who rules o'er the land of Rumpelstiltskin. But you needn't worry, for they're doing well. They escaped her magic and terrible spell. For they've made a true friend of the good fairy queen, and she always has spoiled the old witch's scheme. But once, in the nightmare forest so deep, the witch put Jonathan Thomas asleep. But the good fairy queen woke him up with a charm, and she's doing her best to keep him from harm. And they met a lion one day on the path, who roared quite loud to show them his wrath. For he said it's all wrong and a crying shame to be told I'm lion. I demand a new name. So they named him Ojigraph, and he thought it was fine. And to show he was pleased, he asked them to dine. Then he gave them a gift. 'Twas a box full of growls to frighten the witch and make her howl. So they thanked him kindly, and on they rode till they met the Elf King who lived by the road. And they were just in time, for the wicked old witch flew up on her broom from Rumpelstiltskin. She said she had come for the little Elf King, and she threatened them all with terrible things. But they opened the box and let out a growl, and the witch flew away with a terrible howl. And then the little Elf King, he gave them a key, and said it's a gift to you from me, to open the way through the doors in the wall. Just be careful which one you open, that's all. They tried to be careful, but the wall was long, and the door that they entered was found to be wrong. Wherever they looked, they saw mirrors so grand, and what do you think? It was Looking Glass Land. The chains and open the gate, and I'll have your head if you're 1 minute late.
Yes, sir, at once, your majesty. I'll unlock the gate with this golden key.
Very good, my loyal guard.
Do you suppose I should walk in without sending a card? I'm such a funny man, and you'd better laugh as hard as you can. Yes, sir, of course. I'll do my best, as I always do when you give me the test. Louder and longer. I'm sure you're much stronger. Very good. That's as you should. Now stand by the door and guard it well while I explain the laws to Mr. Santa Claus. I've so very much to tell. Yes, sir. Well, Mr. Claus, how do you do? I'm very, very glad to see you, and I can tell that you're looking well, and by my hat, you're waxing fat. Like as I've always said, no food is as good as water and bread. Well, speak up. Have your say. I can't stay around here all day.
Please, Mr. King, I'll give you anything if you will just let me go. Diamonds and rubies and gold galore. But please, King Squibbeeble, please don't say no.
Ha! And ho!
Oh, surely, good King, you must have a heart. And you know how well I must play my part. Oh, why do you treat me this way? For there'll be no toys for the girls and boys when the sun comes up on Christmas Day. It's not for myself that I plead and beg, but for little Johnny Smith with the broken leg. Don't you see, he'll be without cheer, as no one should be at this time of the year. And there's little Mary King. She didn't ask for anything. As a matter of fact, this is all she said. Please bring me a dolly and a loaf of bread.
The answer is nay. And here's where you'll stay for a long, long time after Christmas Day. For I say that this year will be without cheer. There's too much cheer in the world anyway. Everyone should be sad, not merry and glad. That's what I say.
Very well, Mr. King, but I'm warning you. I'll escape from here. That's what I'll do.
You can't do that. You're as safe in this jail as a rat in a trap.
The only thing that I can say is that for this, you'll have to pay. And I'll be out before Christmas Day. Yes. And I'll pack my toys in my sleigh, and then through the ice and snow I'll go. On, Donner and Blitzen, to the world below. And never you fear, there'll be plenty of cheer again this year, for Sally a doll, for Bobby a train. I'll show the world how to laugh again, for round the earth will I drive my steeds, to fill every heart with my kindly deeds. And I'll bring food for the poor, and toys for the good, and we'll laugh and be happy as everyone should.
That's a very fine speech. But I know how to teach these people that spread such cheer. I'll create a gloom much worse than doom. There'll be no Christmas this year. So be hearty and hale as you stay here in jail, and think of the things you'd do. How you'd ride your sleigh on Christmas Day if you were not put in here to stay. But now I bid you adieu, and say, be of good cheer as long as you're here, for there won't be any Christmas this year. There won't be any Christmas this year.
It's plain to see you don't know me. Somehow I'll find a way. This place I'll leave before Christmas Eve. I'll be there on Christmas Day. Just you wait and see, Mr. King. Just you wait and see.
Oh, come, all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. Oh, come ye, oh, come ye to Bethlehem.
Poor old Santa. It's very sad how old King Squeebeeble treats him so bad. But he'll escape, and that's my promise, because he'll be rescued by Jonathan Thomas. So now to the palace of good Queen Alice, and we'll be there quicker than soon to see what's happening to Jonathan Thomas and the kind old man in the moon.
Now, here's something, my little man, so listen with both ears as best you can.
Yes, ma'am, Your Majesty, if you please.
I remembered that Santa Claus was taken away. In fact, I remembered it only today. But now there's nothing that we lack, for now we know how to get him back.
Oh, that's very nice. 'Cause we have to rescue him, or there won't be any Christmas this year.
This is a whistle to take when you go. And when you want magic, you just have to blow. Then, quick as a wink, you'll start in to grow.
Did you say grow, Your Majesty?
Yes, I did. And you'll grow so high, you'll grow right up into the sky until you're bigger than anyone.
Oh, but
But wait until I'm done. When you reach Squeebobberland, you'll see lots of soldiers on every hand. For Mr. Squeebeeble, the very bad king, who, just to be mean, will do any old thing, has told all his people that you're very wrong, and to catch you quickly when you come along.
Oh!
So that's the reason I'm telling to you the things that you will have to do. Because, you simply must rescue poor Mr. Santa Claus. For more than ever before, this year, we need just oodles and oodles of Christmas cheer.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, here's the plan, my good little man, as I said just a moment before. So you'll keep in your head the things that I've said, and I'll say them again once more.
Yes, ma'am, if you please.
This is the whistle that you must blow when it comes time for you to grow. Blow it just once, and then hang on, and in a trice, the Squeebobble will be gone. You'll frighten them so when you're starting to grow that will be fine because, you'll have no trouble at all in rescuing poor old Santa Claus.
Does it hurt very much to grow, Your Majesty?
Oh, not very much. That is, in the main. But you shouldn't mind a growing pain.
For gracious goodness, Jonathan Thomas, we'd better hurry, or we'll never arrive at the land of Squeebobble.
Look, Mr. Man in the Moon, Her Majesty, Queen Alice, gave me a magic whistle so that I can grow tall and frighten the Squeebobbles so they won't know what to do.
That's wonderful, Jonathan Thomas. Yeah. We are mighty grateful to you, Queen Alice. Yes, sir. How does the whistle work?
Her Majesty said that I just have to blow it like this. And then, oh, my goodness, I feel funny.
Jiminy crickets, you're starting to grow.
But I don't want to grow now. Yet.
Gracious sakes.
Look at me, everybody. I'm getting bigger and bigger, and I'm going up in the air.
There's no need for alarm. He's under a charm.
I'm getting bigger than a building, even than a mountain.
Gracious sakes to Jiminy crickets and flubduds. Get him, stop, Your Majesty. He's turning into a giant. Stop him before he gets clear up in the clouds. Oh, my goodness gracious. Stop!
Well, that really is a magic whistle, isn't it? And it must be wonderful to be able to grow like that without having to eat spinach or even anything. But what do you suppose will happen next? Do you think he'll be able to ungrow? I mean, become shorter again? Well, we'll find that out in the next story of Jonathan Thomas and his Christmas on the Moon. Don't forget to listen, will you?
86 years ago, December 18th, 1938, Jonathan Thomas and his Christmas on the Moon. We'll wrap up this episode of the Wednesday edition of Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox by going to Wistful Vista next.
Civil defense is common sense. This is Fred McMurray. Home shelters can be built for as little as $100. Simple plans for building inexpensive home shelters are available free from your Civil Defense office. Ask for a copy of the Family Fallout Shelter booklet.
And you can find links to all that information in the show notes and also over at classicradio.stream to get a copy of that book. Now, let us travel 71 years back to wrap up this edition. December 18, 1953, a visit to Wistful Vista, and check in with Fibber McGee and Molly.
The Fibber McGee and Molly Show. NBC and Paper Mate Pens bring you Fibber McGee and Molly transcribed. The show is written by Phil Leslie and Ralph Goodman and directed by Max Hutto. We'll join join Fibber and Molly in just a moment. I'd like to take just a moment to ask you a personal question. What does your future look like? Do you dream of retiring to a nice, cozy place in the suburbs later in life? Or do you want 5 acres in the country life? One thing for sure, in either case, whatever your plans, you're going to need money to buy those dreams. So why not start saving for your future now by investing in United States savings bonds? Save a little at a time. Save it regularly on the payroll savings plan. It's a wonderfully simple way to save. Mighty painless, too. Just ask your employer to set aside a couple of dollars from each one of your paychecks, any amount you wish each payday. That way you won't even miss it. And when there's money enough for a savings bond, your employer buys it for you automatically. And when those bonds mature, you'll have your nest egg. Because savings bonds pay you back $4 for every 3 you put in. Extra dollars for your retirement. Make your future more secure by investing in United States savings bonds on the payroll savings plan.
McGee, what are you doing?
Huh?
You've been fidgeting around the living room ever since breakfast and peering out the front window every 2 minutes. You expecting company?
I am indeed, Mrs. McGee. I'm expecting a very distinguished and respected representative of the federal government to arrive here at any moment with a very important communique.
Really? Who?
The mailman.
Oh.
Today's the day I hope all them insulting phone calls I've been making to the city hall this week about when are them leeches going to get their noses out of the pork barrel long enough to mail me my tax refund that I overpaid our property tax a month ago pays off, I hope.
Would you mind running that backwards? Maybe I can follow you better that way.
I says the check's due today, the refund check from the city tax collector. $42.60, their notice said. And boy, we can use that dough this week.
I should say so. Do you see the mailman yet?
Nope. Boy, it sure is windy out there today. You been outside?
No, but Mabel Toop said she tried to hang out her laundry this morning and had to quit.
Yeah?
Yeah, said the wind blew the stripes off of Mort's Sunday shirt.
Ah, you can't believe Mabel Toops. She exaggerates.
I know when Mr. Wimple left here to go downtown this morning, the wind lifted him right off of the front steps.
Well, it must have set him down again on account of because here he comes trudging up the sidewalk right now. It's all he can do. My gosh, there goes his hat.
Oh, dear.
Looks like a brand new hat, too. Look at him run.
It is a new hat. Run out and help him, dearie. Quick, go help him catch it.
Not me, Tootsie. The only thing you catch in a cold wind like this is pneumonia. He'll get his hat.
Oh, poor Mr. Wimple looks so confused.
That's the look he was born with. He can't be very bright anyhow if he goes out on a day like this with a brand new hat on. Why, gee
whiz. But McGee, Oh, look, it's blowing this way. Quick, it's in our hedge. All you have to do is duck outside and grab it for him.
Well, if you want to get my overcoat out for me and my mittens and my galoshes, I'll go out and help him. Although anybody that wears a new hat out in this kind of weather...
Never mind. It's too late anyhow. There it goes again, out in the middle of the street. Oh, dear. That's all.
What's the matter?
Truck just ran smack over it.
Oh, that's a tough break for poor old Wimp. If it hadn't been so windy, I'd have gone out there and helped him. But that's life, Tootsie.
Here he comes now.
Hello, folks. Did you...
Yeah, we saw the whole thing from the window.
Tough.
Just look at that hat. 2 minutes ago it was brand new. Now it looks like an old felt tamale.
Well, there's no use grieving about it, Wimp. That's life, boy.
But a brand new hat, Mr. McGee. Ruined. Oh, I feel awful.
It's a shame.
Oh, cheer up. It can be reblocked. That tore part there's in the top. When you crease it properly, nobody'll even notice it.
Do you really think so?
Why, sure. Oh, it may leak a little, but what the heck? You gotta take these things with a smile, boy. Laugh it off. Ha, ha, ha. That's life.
Well, I think it's just wonderful of you to feel that way, Mr. McGee. You're real. You be sure and let me know how much it costs to reblock it. As long as Mrs. McGee loaned me your hat, the least I can do is pay for the damage.
Huh?
You're a true friend.
Why?
I'm going up to my room and lie down if you don't mind.
Oh.
I'm pooped.
Oh, fine. Look at that. My gosh, Molly, why didn't you tell me you loaned him my brand new hat?
Well, you didn't seem very interested in what happened to it, dearie. I started to, but like you say, that's life.
Look at it, mud all over it. Crumpled up like an empty popcorn sack. And look at that hole in the crown. Why, you can put your fist through it.
Well, you have to take these things with a smile, dearie. Laugh it off, you know. Ha, ha, ha.
Oh, well.
Look, Mother will give you a new one for Christmas. As soon as that check comes from the city, I'll take $10 and
Hey, the mailman. There he goes down the street. He's already been here. I'll run out and see if that check can.
Wait now, don't you want your coat?
Don't need it. The thought of that $42 check warms me up like a substitute quarterback with a high score.
Don't catch cold now. That wind is sharp.
Don't you worry. I'm okay. The mail's here, all right. Postcard from Uncle Dennis. Christmas card from the finance company. Catalog. Ah, here it is. City tax collector. Refund department. Aha!
Well, don't stand out there in the wind. Bring it in.
Okay, Whoops.
What's the matter?
It just blew out of my hand. The letter with the check in it. It blew away. Oh.
There it goes, dearie, down the street.
I'll get it, Molly. I'll get it.
Come back. You catch your death of cold. Heavenly days, where's his coat?
Well, it's just a week from today, you know. 5 more shopping days till Christmas.
Right.
And shopping is going to get rougher and rougher from here on in, baby.
But you can make your shopping a whole lot easier, folks, if you give Paper-Mate pens for Christmas. Because you can buy Paper-Mate pens everywhere without fussing around over sizes or styles or whether it's something they need or not.
That's right, because everyone can use a Paper-Mate pen. The Paper-Mate comes in 7 different color stylings, and it makes a very handsome Christmas present.
Makes a welcome, useful Christmas present, too, because it's the gift that everyone wants, the gift that everyone needs.
Paper-Mate is the pen that has the approval of bankers and educators and millions of users. The pen that writes neatly and permanently. Pen that can't leak or smear or transfer.
And the Paper-Mate in a free gift box costs only $1.69. So give a gift you know they love. This year, give Paper-Mate pens. McGee, where are you? I've got your coat. McGee?
Over here, kiddo. Across the street.
My goodness, get up off your hands and knees. That sidewalk is wet.
The letter. It fell down that grating. Hadn't rat the dirty luck. There, you see? Do you see it?
Never mind that now. Here, put this coat on before you catch pneumonia.
Thanks.
Now, let's take a look through that grating.
This is down there on the bottom, see?
Oh, this is a mess. How on earth will you ever get it out of there?
I don't know, but I'll figure out something. That $42 check that I've been yapping at the city hall about for a month, I'll get it out of there if I have to dynamite.
Well, maybe you can reach it with your hand. Can you reach that far?
Nope. That's the first thing I tried when the check went down there. Oh, what a bright idea that was.
What happened?
Look down there again. You see just to the left of the envelope with the check in it? That's my wristwatch.
Oh, no.
Got my arm caught. Gave a little yank and busted the strap on my wristwatch. Doggone the luck anyhow. I don't know what to do. Maybe if I had a long stick with some chewing gum on it.
Hello there, kids. Hi, daughter. Hi, Johnny.
Hello, Mr. Oldtimer.
Hi.
What you doing, kids? Penny fishing?
No,
That's my favorite kind of fishing, Johnny. Fishing for pennies. I mind when us kids was just kids, Mama used to take us downtown, give us each a stick with some chewing gum on it, throw a nickel's worth of pennies down the nearest grating, and go shopping. Kept us out of trouble all afternoon.
Well, it isn't a penny we're trying to get, Mr. Oldtimer. A tax check came in the mail, and McGee let it blow out of his hand, and it went down the grating.
Yeah. See it down there, over to the side, next to my wristwatch?
Oh, yeah. Check, huh?
Yeah.
Well, now, the same thing happened to Papa one time, Johnny. Dropped his pension check down a grating like this, and I'll show you what he done.
Oh, good.
You think you can get it out of there?
Give me your belt, Johnny. Got a pin, daughter?
My belt?
Yep. Papa took his belt off. That's the way. Got a pin, daughter?
Well, I'm looking. No, I can't spare that one. Yeah, here's a pin.
All Papa done was to take a pin and stick it through the end of his belt like this and bend it like a fish hook.
Hey, that ought to work. Swell.
You just ease the belt down the grating this way. Break the bent pin across the letter like that and... Whoop.
What?
Drop the belt, Johnny.
Oh, dear. Down the grating?
My belt. Oh, what'd you have to do that for?
Now that I think of it, kids, that's exactly what happened to Papa.
Oh.
Well, I'd like to stay here and help you hold your pants up, Johnny, but I gotta get to work. So long, daughter. Happy fishing, son.
Well, he was a big help.
My gosh, I wish people would leave me alone when I'm in trouble. Doggone it, I can't do anything now till I get my belt out of there. I can't even go home to get another belt till I get my belt.
Look, I'll run home and get a curtain pole. I'll drive a nail in the end of it. You know, like they use in the park to pick up paper.
Hey, that ought to do it. I'd go help you, but...
You stay right where you are. And on your knees, too. I'll hurry because you're going to catch cold out here.
Oh, thanks, Molly. Oh, there goes a good kid. This ain't the silliest deal I ever saw. Belt's down there, wristwatch down there. Can't even stand up without hanging onto my pants with both hands.
Hey, who are you talking to, mister? Who's down there? down the grading.
Oh, hi, Teeny. I didn't hear you.
Who's down the grading, Mr. McGee?
Nobody's down the grading, sis. I got a check in the mail. $42 and something tax refund, and the wind blew it down this grading. You see that envelope down there? See it down there?
Oh, sure. A letter, huh?
I tried to reach it, and I dropped my wristwatch, and my belt fell down there, and doggone it.
Oh, well, gee, I can get all that out for you, Mr. McGee. Yeah, me and Willie Toops, we get stuff out of this grading all the time. Pennies and tinfoil.
Yeah, you do? You think you can get my check and my wristwatch?
What's in it for me?
A buck. A big fat buck. $2.
Oh, boy, $2. Gee, I'll have that stuff out of there in jiffy, I betcha.
Well, how are you going to do it? You can get your hand through all right, but your arms aren't long enough to reach clear.
Well, the way Willie Toops and I do it, we just lift the grating out.
Huh?
Like that.
Well, my gosh, it ain't even fastened down.
No.
Oh, I never thought of that.
And then we hop down in here.
Uh-huh.
Like this. There's your wristwatch.
Thanks.
There's your letter.
Thanks.
And your belt.
Boy, oh boy, I got no time to put my belt on now. I better hold the letter in my teeth, I guess, so I can hang on to my pants till I get to the house and show Molly the check. And, oh, here's your $2, Teeny. Thanks a lot.
Oh, boy. $2 whole.
Hey, Molly, I got it. I got the check.
Oh, wonderful. How'd you ever do it?
Well, never mind now. Take it out of my mouth and open it quick. $42.60 they owe me.
We'll take it right to the bank and... Uh-oh.
Where's the check? What's it say? Read it.
Uh-oh. Says due to the Christmas holidays, tax refund payments will not be mailed out till after January 1st. Merry Christmas.
Mary, you mean... Oh, this is disgusting.
Fibber and Molly will be right back. How about that Christmas shopping of yours? Is it all done? Or are you still wondering what Mother would most appreciate on Christmas morning? You know, the woman of the house spends between 3 and 4 hours in the kitchen almost every day of the year she goes about her task of making your house a home. You could make that kitchen a brighter place with a gift of a radio, styled to match your kitchen decorations. There's no need to remind you that Christmas is a week from today, only 5 shopping days left. So, why don't you hurry out tomorrow morning to your radio dealer and look over his stock of radios that would make Mother happier all year long in her kitchen. You don't have to spend a lot of money on a radio either, and there's a variety of extras to help with the kitchen chores. For instance, with a special clock attachment on many radios, you can plug in the coffee pot tonight and have the radio turn it on in the morning. There's a world of entertainment, news, and programs of special interest every day on the NBC Radio Network. Bring this world to your kitchen with a radio on Christmas Day.
In the midst of all your Christmas shopping, don't forget to buy plenty of Christmas seals.
You can help to continue the fight against tuberculosis by buying and using Christmas seals.
Have a nice weekend. See you Monday. Good night.
Good night, all.
NBC and Paper Mate Pens have brought you the Fibber, McGee, and Molly program, transcribed. Bill Thompson is the old-timer and Wallace Whipple. This is John Wald inviting you to be with us again Monday night for another visit with Fibber, McGee, and Molly.
Fill your kitchen with exciting drama every day on the NBC Radio Network.
December 18th, 1953, Fibber, McGee, and Molly here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Thanks so much for making us a part of your day, and visit our webpage at classicradio.stream. On Thursday, we will have Jack Benny, Phil Harrison, Alice Faye, the Aldrich Family going back to 1939, a 30-minute version of Lum and Abner's traditional Christmas show, Jonathan Thomas and his Christmas on the Moon, and Superman. That's coming up on our Thursday show. Have yourself a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow for more Classic Radio Theater. I'm Wyatt Cox.